3 lines to the bottom of the Mishnah. Says the gemorah b'shachar mevarach shtayim lefanea v'achas lachreya. In the morning you say 2 brachas before Kriya Shema, or 1 bracha afterwards. Ba'erev mevarach shtayim lefanea v'shtayim lachreya. In the evening you say 2 brachas before and 2 brachas after. Achas arucha v'achas ktsara. One of these is a lengthy bracha, one of them is a short bracha. So mokum shomer laharich ein v'sher lekatzer. If it's a long bracha, you can't make it shorter. You can't cut down the bracha. You're not allowed to change the nusach of the bracha. Lekatzer ein v'sher laharich. Lach ein v'sher lekatzer. Lekatzer ein v'sher laharich. If it's a short bracha, you're not allowed to lengthen it. Lachtam ein v'sher shaloi lachtam. Shaloi lachtam ein v'sher lachtam. You can't change the nusach of bracha. Whatever chazal or kaveya, anshik neses akadela. These things are thousands of years old. You can't make it shorter, you can't make it longer. Don't play around with it. It's a kasha. Some people change the nusach tefillah. You have to know what's going on. My mevarach. So Gemara asks, what brachas does the guy make? He's about to say Krishma. What brachas you make? Amar Yishia. You say before Krishma in the morning, Yetzirah Revayre Chayshech. That's a bracha. We say Yetzirah, he created light, Boyre Chayshech, and he created darkness. So the Gemara asks, Lema Yetzirah, he made light, the Vayre Noiga, and he made Noiga. So Noiga is like moonlight, apparently. It represents light and it's dark, it's moonlight. Some type of halo, I don't know. Noiga. So, so why does it say noiga? Why should you say chayshech, dark? Dark's not nice. He created noiga. Kedechsiv. Kedechsiv come in, and we say, like it says in the pasuk. The pasuk says yetzer v'are chayshech. That's why we say it. Take a look in. I don't know. I've got the Torah Shalom on the side. He brings the pasuk. It's in Yeshaya. Yetzer v'are chayshech. Ayse Shalom v'are ra. We change it ra to kol. But that's the pasuk. It says Yetzer v'are chayshech. So, Elamat, the Gemara says, if we're reading the pasuk, Ayse Shalom v'are ra. Why do we say v'are kol? The pasuk says he made evil. Why do we say he made everything? So Mika min kedechsiv. So we don't quote the pasuk. We don't quote the sentence. Ela ksiv ra v'krein akol. We say akol. Why is lishnu malya? It's a better lashon. So we don't want to say ra. We want to say akol. It sounds better. He made everything. Now the whole idea is that people could think Hashem made everything that's good, fantastic. Well, who made all the bad in the world? Hashem also made it all. That's the pasuk in Yeshaya. Hashem made the evil. But to repeat every day, Hashem made the evil, it's not good. People get confused. It's hard to digest. I don't know why. But we say Hashem made everything, and everything means the good and the bad. So Gemara says, okay, so say noiga. Once you're changing the pasuk, so why you say he made chayshach, and now you can say he made noiga. Again, lishnu ma'alya. He uses a better lashon. Noiga is lishnu ma'alya. Say noiga, it's a nicer lashon than chayshach. He made chayshach, he made darkness. Say he made noiga. Ella. So why do we say chayshach? Ella marava. There's a reason why we specify that Hashem made darkness in the world. We want to remember in the day the night, and we want to remember the night in the day. So the question is, why do we want to do that? Why do we have to repeat? Why do we have to mention the fact that Hashem made the night and the day, and the fact that Hashem made the day and the night? Because a day and night, you quote both.
Wouldn't Noga also satisfy that?
Not as much as Chayshach. Noiga is like a type of light. Noiga means some type of glow. It happens to be, that's how you call moonlight. But if you say Bayra Chayshach of a Noiga, you might think that he created the bright light and a glowing light. But now he says Bayra Chayshach, he made the night. Question is, why do we have to mention night? So the Mepharshim explained of it is something fascinating. That first of all, you might think God made the good stuff, the day, and the night was made by, I don't know, lahavdil, compare Christians believe that there's two forces out there. There's a good force and an evil force. There's an anti-God, God forbid, like crazy stuff, right? Basically they get the hashkafa from the Astrozarians, who believe that there's like a good force and a bad force, right? There's two, and one made the good, one made the bad, and that's what Persians believed till Islam came around, right? It was actually the most common. It was one of the most common things back then. So you got to say every day in the day, Hashem made also the day and also the night. We have to know that Hashem made everything. That's one opinion. The second opinion is because we have to know that night is very good. Just like day is good, night is good. So they're going to come and explain, why is night so good? What's so good about the night? What do you mean night for? The Rishonim say something fascinating. If there wouldn't be night, you'd have people who want to make money. They'd work 24/7. They'd work non-stop. They just push it, keep going, keep working. Take a break for coffee. Let's say Hashem made it. You didn't need to sleep, right? There's no night. You didn't have to sleep. So you'd just work. You'd push yourself. You'd work till you made millions. Then you'd rest. This way Hashem made a night. You have to go home. You have to relax. You have to wind down. There's nothing you can do. You can't work. Everything's closed. The stores are closed. The factories, everything's closed. You go home and now you relax. So it's a tremendous chesed. You get to relax. You get to spend time with your family and kids. And guess what? That's what they say. I had another added chiddush, which is that if you think about it, there'd be many people without a home. If you didn't need to go home and sleep, there'd be people without a house. You just go out to work, one job to the other. Why'd you have to go home? Go from one restaurant to another. You wouldn't even go home b'chol. People would be up all day, all night. You wouldn't have a home. You wouldn't have a family. There'd be no basis to have a family b'chol. You wouldn't go home. You'd be out all day. So night is great. Night is also good. So the gemorah asks, Bishlema midas laila b'yom kadabin yetzavar chayshach. So we mentioned the night during the day. And midas yom b'laila heichem hashkachas la. Where do we mention at night that Hashem made the day also? Abaye answers, we say at night that Hashem makes the night into day and makes the day into night. That's what we mention. Okay, v'iduch, my high. Why is he mentioning this? Amar Rav Yehuda. In other words, v'iduch, he's going back to the iduch bracha. What's the other bracha? Now, we say two brachas. What's the other bracha we say? So the first bracha is Yetzerar. Now, Gemara asks, what's the other bracha? What's the second bracha? Gemara says, Amar Rav Yehuda Mishmuel Avarabba. We say that Hashem has this tremendous love for us. This Avarabba, a love that's massive, enormous. V'chein, Oyle Reb Elazar Rav Padas Berei. Rav Elazar showed his son, Avarabba. You say Avarabba. The second bracha is Avarabba. Tanya Ramiyachi, there's a brayso that says, Ein oim ra'avas olam. You don't say avas olam in eternal love, ela Avarabba, a massive love. So it's a machlokes. For Rabbanan Amri avas olam. Rabbanim say, you don't say Avarabba, this massive love. We talk about an eternal love. V'chein oim avas olam avtich. I've loved you. Eternal love, I have loved you. Al kem shachti chesed. Therefore, I've drawn to you chesed, love or kindness. It's actually a beautiful song from Eitan Katz. You ever heard it? Shlomo Katz, I think, wrote it. One of the most beautiful songs. Eternal love, I loved you. So basically, what he's saying, the pasuk is saying, what's the difference between Avarabba and Avas Olam? It's a fascinating thing. One is this massive love, massive, giant. One is eternal. It's eternal love. So what's the difference? So some Sfarim say that the difference is it's like Shlomo Melech talks about in Shir Hashirim. He talks about Achois Yakala, Achois, my sister, the bride. Now you can't marry your sister. So what's he talking about? He's talking about Klal Yisrael. Achois Yakala. There's a love that you can love your sister. That's eternal. Doesn't matter what she does. She's always your sister. Your sister's always your sister. You can never take that away. You can never change that with any operation. But there's a kala. Someone loves his wife even more than he loves his sister. But there's such a thing called divorce. So Hashem says, you're a chais yakala. You're also my sister and you're also my wife. It's both. So one is Av Rabbah. That's the love of a wife. Massive love. Like a person can be passionately in love with his wife. And then there's the Av Salem, eternal. God says, it's in the Navi. It's crazy that people think that God could change the word of the prophet. I love you in eternal love. Avas Olam Mahavtich. I love you eternally, Hashem says to Klal Yisrael. Your love is forever and ever and ever. Nothing can ever change that. And the rest of the song, he quotes a different pasuk that says, the mountains will crumble, v'agvos yamutu, and valleys will, but I love you forever. Even there'll be no mountains, there'll be no valleys, the world will be destroyed. Hashem will still love Klal Yisrael. Avas Olam Mahavtich. It's eternal love. So what do we say? Do you say Avas Olam or Av Rabbah? It's machlekes. Therefore, Ashkenazim, Minig Ashkenaz, Shulchan Aruch says, is we say Av Rabbah in the morning, a time of light, a time of chesed, at night, where it's a time of darkness, and you might think that there's no love, there's bad in the world. Then you say Avas Olam at night. So the day you say Av Rabbah, and night you say Avas Olam. Chassidim say Avas Olam in the morning also. They say Avas Olam in the morning, in the night. Why? I do not know. I think Sfardim won't say Avas Olam. The Pashas of the gemorah is we pass when you say Av Rabbah. But we say both. That's the maskana. Says the gemorah. Amar Yehuda Amar Shmuel. Yehuda said the name of Shmuel. Hishkim l'shanos. You get up early to learn Torah. Actually, kosh kriyishma. If you didn't yet read kriyishma, what should you do? Tzarich levarach. Which bracha do you have to make? You have to say Birchas Kriyishma, right? You have to say Birchas Torah. You can't learn Torah till you say Birchas Kriyishma. Tzarech likres bracha. Tzarech levarach, meaning Birchas Torah. Mishikar Kriyishma ain't tzarech levarach. Once you read Kriyishma, you don't have to say Birchas Torah. Why? Shekvar nifta ba'av rabbah. You're ready. But you ate the bracha with av rabbah. When you said this bracha of av rabbah, since in Av Rabbah, Rashi says, it talks about Mlumoid, Lamed, Lishma, Velasas, Elakaim, it's called Divis Amadozecha, that he talks about the Torah in the bracha. It's that long bracha, you talk about the Torah. So you eat the Birchas Torah with Av Rabbah. So you don't need to say Birchas Torah. So before you said Av Rabbah, you had to say Birchas Torah, now you don't need to. Amar Avuna. Lemikwa tzach levarach, lemidrash ein tzach levarach. Only for reading psukim in the Torah. But if you're learning medrash, you don't need to make a bracha. You need to make a bracha for both. But if you're learning a mishnah, you don't need to make a bracha Torah. Even if you're learning a mishnah, you need to be mevarach. And that's Allah. We're passing like Rava. He's a Basra. He's the last one. Even if you're learning gemorah, you have to say bracha Torah. So just to clarify. It's a machlekes Rishonim, first of all. Is Birchas Torah d'oraisa or d'Rabbanan? The pasuk says, Kishem Hashem Ekra, Hovu Gadol Elokeinu. When I read Shem Hashem, and the whole Torah is the name of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, so Hovu Gadol Elokeinu, you have to say bracha. So is it d'oraisa or is it d'Rabbanan? Also, they make a kal v'chomer. The Gemara says a kal v'chomer from Birchas Hamazon. If you have to thank Hashem for bread, you have to thank Hashem for the Torah, all the more so. The Rambam says it's Darabanan, Birchas Torah. It's not Daraisa. All the other Rishonim say it's Daraisa. Birchas says Daraisa. What's enough Kamina? If you're Sophic, if you made Birchas Torah, should you say it again? So the Shagas Aryeh says that since we paskin Rosh Hashanah is Daraisa, you have to make another bracha. We're going to see. You don't have to say all of them. You can be Yetzer just with one. You don't have to say both brachas. You just do one of them. We're going to see what the brachas are. So the Gemara says. Gomer Rav Chia Ba'ashi. Zivis again have a coming of the Rav, the Snui Perkin. I came in front of Rav to learn Perek, the Sifra of Sifra, which is Medrash, the Berifuna, in the house of Rav Huna. Maktiv Komashi Yadei Baruch. First of all, he washed his hands and he said Birchas Torah. He didn't learn even Medrash. He didn't learn without Birchas Torah. Umasi learned Perkin, and then we learned the Perek. My Mavarch. So what is this Birchas Torah? What brachas do you say? My Mavarch. You've commanded us, you've sanctified us with your mitzvahs, and you've commanded us lasik with divrei Torah, to be involved in studying the Torah. Rabbi Rabbi Yochanan added this, Harevna Hashem Lakeinu, sweeten to us, please Hashem, as Divrei Yisrael B'finu B'fi Yisrael B'Yisrael, sweeten Torah in our mouths and in the mouths of all of Klal Yisrael, V'di Anachim V'Tzeinu V'Tzeinu B'Yisrael, our children and all of Klal Yisrael, Kulanu Yedei Shemecha, we should all know your name, V'Eisket Torasecha, and study the Torah. Baruch Hashem HaMelamed Torah L'Ama Yisrael. Praise the Hashem, blessed you Hashem, that you teach Torah to Am Yisrael. So what is this V'harav? No, I didn't know this. I'm embarrassed to say, all my life, I'm an old guy. Take a look in Rashi, V'harav no. What are you asking for? We say, please Hashem, sweeten the Torah to us. Harav no Hashem Lakeinu. Maybe I didn't know this, I forgot. Yarvu aleinu lasik bahem ma'ava. The Torah should be sweet to us. That when we study Torah, we should do it out of love. That's what we're asking for in the morning. Please Hashem, make the Torah sweet for us, that we should study Torah from love. Fascinating. Okay. So these are the two brachas. For Rav Abnun, sorry, that's the first bracha. For Rav Abnun Amar, Rav Abnun says a different bracha. Asher bracha bani mikol ha'amim, v'nosan lana es teirasai, baruch ata Hashem noisein ha'teira. Thank you Hashem for giving us a Torah, you've chosen us. And Hilch Amar Rav Abnun zui mu'lish brachas. Rav Abnun says this is the greatest of, this is the better of brachas. And therefore, therefore you should say both of them. So that's why we say both brachas. You first say the thing, V'haravna, thank you for giving us, teaching us the Torah, and then Asher b'chabanu kol ha'amim. Therefore, you should say both brachas. So if you have a suffix, which one you should? If you have a suffix, if you said brachas Torah, Mishnah Berurah says, say just the second one, Asher b'chabanu kol ha'amim. It's a machlokes. Mishnah Berurah brings his other shitas that say, maybe you shouldn't say any of them. Suffix brachas lakal. Normally you have a suffix brachas. You don't know if you said a bracha. You don't make a bracha. You're good. Take the day off. You don't have to say it. There's a separate issue over here. Machlokes Rishonim. What is this birchas Torah? We're going to see, let's take, it's very important to see this Taisus. Is birchas Torah like saying a bracha before any mitzvah you do, that you can't do the mitzvah till you make the bracha? Or is this just like birchas hashachar? You get up every morning and you say, thank you Hashem that you gave me eyes, and thank you gave me clothes, thank you gave me a Torah. Let's take a look at Taisus. Taisus says, he's going on the gemorah that said, if you said avarabba, you don't have to say birchas Torah. Second Taisus. Taisus says, B'Yushalmi, it says in the Yushalmi, Hadar min shukal lifta ba'avarabba, v'u shashona al-asar. If you said the avarabba, you only yetz birchas Torah if you learned immediately. Pirish la'alta shalamed miyad b'yizim makom. So if you said the avarabba, Mishnah Berurah says, what does it mean? You said if you're not sure if you said birchas Torah, now you're trying to be yetzer by saying avarabba in the morning. So right when you finish davening, you have to learn straight away. Open a sefer, learn straight away. V'nishal la'rav Rabbi Yitzchak kagayin anish she'ein anu lemedim miyad la'achat tefillah. We don't learn straight away after we daven. We finish davening, we run to work, and then we start learning in the evening. Or yoisa, right, till the middle of the day or later. Should we say another brachas Torah? Should we make another bracha? We're not passing like this Rishonim. You don't have to learn immediately. We're not passing like this Rishonim. You don't have to learn straight away. That's how we paskin. This Rishonim says you have to learn immediately. It lasts the whole day.
You say Kriya Shema immediately.
Right. You're asking a fantastic question. You're saying Kriya Shema immediately. Right. So either it's because when you're learning the same Kriya Shema, you're not thinking about, I'm doing this to learn Torah. You're thinking, I'm saying it to do Kriya Shema, so therefore maybe it's not considered Talmud Torah. Alternatively, it could be the pshat is that Lefi the Rishalmi, you have to learn straight away. In other words, if you take a break, you're going to have to make another birchas Torah. So this avarabba will take care of any learning you do immediately. But if you take a break, you go for lunch, you go to work, you have to make another birchas Torah. There's a hefsek. Maybe that's pshat Rishalmi. But if you learn straight away after Avarabba, then you're good. Then you're covered. So says Taisvis, fascinating Taisvis. V'aid. Furthermore, I feel if you're Rishalmi, even according to Rishalmi, you have to learn immediately. Davka ba'avarabba. That's only if you're saying avarabba to be yetzer b'chas Torah. V'lo yave ikka bracha l'b'chas Torah dik avarabba l'krishma niskan. So you only have to learn immediately if you're trying to be yetzer b'chas Torah with avarabba. But if you say the actual b'chas Torah, you can learn the whole day, even according to this Rishalmi. ובשביל היא אין הנפטר בברכת התורה אלא יום מיד, וגם יעשה הסך הדס, אבל ברכת לעסק בדבר תורה שאין עיקר לברכת התורה פייטוס כל היום. So Taisa says, of course, the bרכת Torah we say nowadays, that covers you for the whole day. No question about it. You cover the whole day. Yerushalmi only meant because he's saying Avarabba and it's not a real bרכת Torah, that you have to learn immediately. But what we say bרכת Torah, you cover the whole day. Vim taima. So now Taisa asks another question. Ma'ishna misukah shetzarach levarach al kol suda v'suda leisha b'sukkah. So Taisa just said that when you say bרכas Torah, you covered the whole day. You open a safe in the middle of the day, you don't say another bרכas Torah. So ask Taisa, why is it different to sukkah? Every time you come into your sukkah, leisha b'sukkah, you make 100 leisha b'sukkah in one day, right? So what's the difference? Why with bרכas Torah you cover for the whole day? Torah, since you have to learn every second, you're supposed to be learning Torah, so it's always sitting on your head. It's like you have to learn Torah. So you never you don't have to sit in the sukkah every second of the day. It's a mitzvah to sit in the sukkah. But if you leave the sukkah, that's fine. Therefore, when you come back in, it's a new mitzvah. But Torah, since it's always sitting on your shoulder, you have to learn Torah. So you don't have to make a new bracha. It never left you, so to speak. It's always there. Okay, vim taima. Next time, kasha taisas. Another kasha. Why don't we make a bracha when you sleep in the sukkah? It's actually big machlekes. Some Rishonim say you do make a bracha when you sleep in the sukkah. Yesh nagin kacha, yesh nagin kacha, yesh nagin not sleep in the sukkah b'chal. Maybe because of the suffix, they don't know what to do. Do you make a bracha sleeping in the sukkah? Yesh laima. The bracha the achila is your bracha you play Torah. When you make a bracha on achila, that part is you for sleeping in the sukkah. Inami mishum shemala yishan. Or another option, you might not fall asleep. You make a bracha leishav b'sukkah, you go to sleep, and you can't fall asleep, and it's going to be a bracha levatala she'enim bi'adar lishan. You can't force yourself to sleep. Okay, I'm Rabbeinu Tam. This is what I wanted to get to. Fundamental. It says Rabbeinu Tam. Massive chiddush of Rabbeinu Tam. K'sh'adam aymed mimitase b'layla. Little might we get up in the middle of the night to learn Torah. You don't have to make any b'chas Torah. The bracha that you made the night before, the morning before, that covers you till the next morning. So it turns out in other words, says Rabbeinu Tam, b'chas Torah is not a din that you have to say bracha unless there's a hefsuk, unless there's something that blocks it. Says Rabbeinu Tam, you make a bracha every morning. It's like brachas hashaka. You say thank you Hashem for your eyes, thank you for your clothes, thank you for giving me shoes. You say thank you for the Torah, and then you potter the whole day. So if you wake up in the middle of the night to learn, if you're Rabbeinu Tam, you do not have to say another bracha. We don't say the fact that you fell asleep for 16 hours or 10 hours. Now it's a hefsek, and you got to make a new bracha at 3 in the morning. Happened to me today. I woke up 3 in the morning. Should I learn Torah or not? I don't know. It's a big suffix, right? Do you have to make a bracha? Apparently, the Sfarim say that Rashi used to get up in the morning, make a b'chas Torah, and then in shul he made another b'chas Torah in the morning. But the Pasha says lefi the Rosh. This is machlekes the Rosh, other Rishonim and Achronim time. The Rosh says the chiv b'chas Torah bracha. Even if you go to sleep at night, you're good. You cover till the morning, till nates, right? But according to the Rosh, you went to sleep. It's a hefsek. Now you have to make a new b'chas Torah. So what do? Do you make a bracha or not? Sofik brachas. What do you do? We saw it. Shach Gazariah says it's sofik brachas. Say one bracha. The mulish of brachas. You have a sofik. You should make another bracha. So that's Shittas Rabbeinu Tam. Rabbeinu Tam says Birchas Torah is not like a regular Birchas Mitzvah. It's a bracha you say every morning, and that's it. Now let's just finish up this thesis. Once we got this far, we might as well see it. The Tzafatim Nogu Leim Psukim. The French said Psukim after Birchas Torah, Birchas Kahanim, Yivrach Hashem Yishmerecha, which is actually, if you take a look in Yenisib and Nazil, it's talking about Torah, the Birchas Kahanim. Vichonecha is Chain of Torah. V'gam Elu Divreim She'elam Shir. You say this Mishnah, She Mishnah. Okay. Why do they say this? Why do we say this Psukim? Then Yerushalmi. Why do you say this Psukim after Birchas Torah? Then Yerushalmi Shebay Limud Mi Alacha Kain. Right? The boy Shiyal Medacha Alatar. According to Yerushalmi, you should start learning immediately. It shouldn't be a hafsuk, right? That's why you say these psukim. But guess what? You don't have to say these psukim. Since we don't possibly like Yerushalmi, you have to learn immediately. You don't have to say these psukim. Let's say you said Asher B'chabana, and then all of a sudden you had a coffee. Oh, I did a hafsuk. I didn't learn. I'm not Yetzirah. You are Yetzirah B'chas Torah. There's no suffix. I think Lefi all the Shitas, except for maybe the Yerushalmi, Lefi Taisus, Yerushalmi is only a problem hefsek when it comes to Avarabba. Even Taisus says the Yerushalmi will agree that with Birchas Torah, actually, you don't have to learn immediately. It lasts the whole day, even if you didn't learn immediately. Okay, sorry about that Taisus diversion. Take a look in the gemorah. Tanu Hasam. Amalehem Amamuna. The Skana Kahanim, the deputy Kohen Gadol, the vice Kohen Gadol, bracha achas. The Kohanim should say bracha achas. They said say one bracha, vein bracha. They made the bracha. V'kara says a dibros. Then they read the 10 Commandments. Shema v'hayim shemaya v'yaymer. Then they said kriya shema. U'brichas am. Then they said brichas kahanim. Gimel brachas. Birchas am gimel brachas. They said the three. They gave the am the 3 brachas. Emes v'yatziv. Then they said emes v'yatziv v'avoda. These are the 3 brachas. Sorry, emes v'yatziv v'avoda. And then u'brichas kahanim. U'brichas kahanim. And they said brichas kahanim. U'b'Shabbos masifim bracha achas l'mishma yetz. And on Shabbos they gave another bracha because they had a different group of kahanim. Changed it, so they what's it called? So they gave another bracha. So Gemorah wants to know, what is this bracha achas? He starts off by saying, say one bracha. What is the bracha, he said? Ki hada Rabbi Abba, Rabbi Yossi bar Abba. Which bracha did they say? Ikalu asher. They went to they got to the place. Ba'amanei, they asked him, my bracha, achas, love biyadai. They said, which bracha did the Kohanim say? He didn't know. They didn't have it in their hand. V'asu shayla Rav Masna. They asked Rav Masna. Rav Masna didn't know. Love biyadai. He didn't know. Asu shayla Rav Yehuda. He asked Rav Yehuda. Amalu, Hacham Shmuel. Rav Yehuda said, this is what Shmuel said, Avarabba. So which bracha did the Kohanim say? They said Avarabba. Not Avasalam, no. They said Avarabba. V'amar, in other words, we know they said one of the brachas before Krishma. Did they say Avarabba or did they say Yitzhar? That's the kasha. Which one did they say? Says Shmuel, they said Avarabba. I guess they didn't have time to say both brachas. I don't know why they only said one. They said one. Which one? Avarabba. V'amar Zrika Amar Ravami, Amar Shimon Melakesh. No, they said Yitzhar. Obviously it's a machlekes. They didn't say Avarabba, they said Yitzhar. Ki asar of Yitzchak by Yosef Amar Hadar Rabbi Zrika Lav Beferish Itmar Ala Mechlala Itmar. It doesn't say explicitly they said Yitzhar, but we can deduct it that they said Yitzhar. He's right. Why? Brachas ein mak v'zu. The fact that the Kohanim only said one of the brachas, that tells me that the 2 brachas aren't dependent on one another. You could say just one of them. If a guy forgot to say Avarabba, you said Yitzhar, was it a bracha levatala? No. Ein ma'akvis. You don't need to say both. They're 2 individual separate things. They're not mark of one or the other. Therefore what? If you're going to tell me they said Yitzhar, and then say Avarabba. That makes sense. The like Hainin brachas ein magzu. The like Amri Avarabba. They didn't say Avarabba. Ali Amas Avarabba Amri. If you're going to tell me that the Kohanim said Avarabba, so my brachas ein magzu. How do you know from this that the brachas don't aren't dependable. They're not dependent on one on the other one. You know why they didn't say Yetzirah? Because it wasn't yet morning. It was nighttime. It was before sunrise, so they couldn't say Yetzirah. So how can you deduct from here, how can you deduct from the fact that Chaim said Avarabba, that the brachas aren't dependent on one another? Maybe they couldn't say Yetzirah. It wasn't time to say Yetzirah yet, but they could say Avarabba. So therefore, it must be that the bracha, the one bracha that the Kohanim made was Yetzirah, not Avarabba. Okay, we finished the Amud, and we're going to wrap up over here. Fascinating sugya. Just important to know that the Taisha says this Birchas Kohanim wasn't the Birchas Kohanim that did the Duchen in front of the whole Olam, because that Taisha says you need to stand as Acha Aktaras or whatever is Acha Aktaras Meirim. This is done. They said a separate Birchas Kohanim in the morning before the regular Birchas Kohanim in front of the whole people, the regular Duchening. Okay, have a wonderful day. Thank you.